They gallivant. That's a good word. I'm gonna teach you guys what that word means. So remember this, and then the next video or the next video, I'm gonna teach you gallivant. And now, for the first time in FasciNATIVE English history, I am teaching you an actual vocabulary word that's in the dictionary. I know, right? I never thought I would see the day because I always teach idioms, slangs, expressions, proverbs, phrases, abbreviations, all the stuff that you don't get out of the dictionary. That's what I like to share with you. But it was brought to my attention in my last video that a lot of people don't know this word. And actually I mentioned it in my video and I was like,
what's up, brother?
I should do a video on this because maybe a lot of people don't know what this means. And so I took a little poll and I was like, a lot of people do not know what this means. Now, probably by now, those people that participated in the poll went to Google, searched it, they kind of have an idea, but I'm good on my word. I'm good on my word. I'm still gonna make this video for you all because I do feel like I can explain it a little bit better, not to toot my own horn, but I do feel like I can explain it a little bit better. And also, even though it's not slang or idiom or phrase, and it's an actual vocabulary word instead, I will still do a video on it. Without further ado, today we're going to be talking about the word gallivant. Gallivant. Now, I know you're waiting for the definition, but you know I got a story. Story time. I always have a story for you all. When I was in Korea, one of the things that I really loved to do was gallivant. I was excited to just be living in another country. Well, one, I was excited to be living anywhere that wasn't my hometown. It just made it that much better that it was 7,000, almost 8,000 miles away from my hometown. And then I was really intrigued on like finding like cool spot, like random off the beaten path spots to hang out. Like that was like my mission in life when I was younger living in Korea before I became a mom. When I became a mom, it became much harder to do those things, but I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. But when I was in Korea, I loved to gallivant around. Like I would just hop on a bus, like no lie. I would see a random bus. It would be at the station. Like maybe I'm waiting for a bus to go somewhere, but I don't really have to go there. I just thought like, I'm gonna go here because I have nothing else better to do. Those were the days when I had free time. Wow. I took it for granted. Anyways, I would just hop on a bus and I would go wherever the bus takes me. And I would sit beside the window and I would look out. And every time I saw something that was interesting or intriguing, I would get off the bus and go to it. And this happened for like 2 years or at least a year and a half, where whenever I had free time, which was usually on the weekends or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to stay home or at that time in my dormitory because I didn't want to like waste my time in Korea. So I would go and I would wait on a bus and I would have an idea in mind, especially like when I went to Seoul, because I was living in Suwon. So like it's not that far from Seoul. And when I went to Seoul, I would have an idea in mind of like places I wanted to go. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have to go to these places because I've been there a million times. So I'm open to gallivant around and just see where Korea takes me today. And that's what I did. Like I would go on random buses and get off at random places and hang out. Now, if you are living in Korea or maybe even Japan or a country that is relatively safe, this is okay to do. I do not recommend doing this in the United States. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna speak for the country as a whole. Don't do it. Just be mindful because unfortunately, America isn't as safe. That's my little, public service announcement. Don't be doing this in America. But when you travel and if you know the country is safe, and by now I was speaking Korean a little bit better, like honestly, no, that's a lie. I started doing this when I only knew how to say like 3 words. But I could read Korean. Huh? There was that. At least I had that going for me. And I always had my phone with me and I had a bunch of friends I could call if like something happened. And worst case scenario, which this has happened a few times, I just took a taxi back, which sometimes can be expensive, but most of the times it wasn't, especially in comparison to like everything in America is way expensive, but in Korea it wasn't that expensive. Like I think the most amount of money I paid for a taxi was like literally from Seoul back to Suwon, and it was like 58 bucks, which honestly, 58 bucks here in America, I could go like 10 minutes down the road and I could probably pay 58 bucks depending on where I am and what city I'm in. Not that expensive. But I would just go gallivant around because, like I said, I had the free time. It was before I became a mother. I had no cares or worries in the world. My work and school was Monday through Friday. As soon as I finished work / school both on Friday, it was the weekend, baby. And it was all Carley. I don't have to worry about anything else. It was just me against the world. Now, flash forward, this was like 2012. Flash forward 12 years. Wow, my life has changed because my weekends are dedicated to soccer, being a soccer mom, and chauffeuring my kids around, doing this, doing that. I still work a lot on the weekends because I have my main job, my 9 to 5 as you would call it, even though it's not a 9 to 5, it's more like a 5 to 3. 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. or sometimes 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. but still. And then I have YouTube. And then I also work for the Speak English with Tiffany Academy. So I juggle a lot, and then also I'm a mom. So my free time doesn't really exist. But you know what? I digress. You know, I was reminiscing on those days where I took it all for granted and I would just happily gallivant around Korea. But yeah, this one time I actually stumbled upon something quite amazing. And there's pros and cons to gallivanting, especially in a foreign country. The pro is you get to experience something that usually tourists or maybe people who aren't native to that country don't get to experience. So that's one major pro, which I thought was amazing. A con is you will probably never go there again because you won't remember exactly where it's at. So yes, if anybody is watching this and you are Korean and you know what I'm talking about, please comment, because it has been 12 years and I still can't find this place again. All right. So one day I was gallivanting around in Seoul, just like on a random bus. And I think I was somewhere kind of around Gangnam area. Oppan Gangnam Style. But like not near Gangnam Station, like a few bus stops past it or something. And I see this like mascot dude wearing like, I don't know, some kind of, it looked like it was a frog. And I was like, this looks fun. And there was like a lot of people and there was like street vendors and I was like, this looks really fun. And I just started walking and I got me like some tteokbokki or something from the street, and you know, and I was like, this looks like a fun like little area. Little did I know that like 2 streets over was going to be like the most aesthetically pleasing places I've ever seen in my life, and cafes at that. If you guys don't know anything about me yet, I will tell you that I am a sucker for a good cafe, and especially if it's super aesthetically pleasing, like very beautiful on the inside, and like maybe there's like cafe latte art, and like there's like beautiful bread or pastries or cookies or whatever that's like in the shape of like a cute character. Take my money right now. That is like what I live for. All right. I was walking around and I was thinking like, this is cool. Like this is the best it's gonna get. Like I'm eating some tteokbokki. Like actually it was like tteokgochi, which is like the ones on a stick and like has like sausage and rice cake and sausage and rice cake like that. So I was eating like tteokgochi, and then I was walking around and then I see like the street and I see like really cute little girls. I should probably preface, that sounded weird. I'm not, scratch that. I saw beautiful women walking, like dressed nicely. That sounds weird too. Just listen to what I'm saying. I just saw some people who were dressed nicely and like were walking down the street, and I was like, oh my goodness, like where are you guys going? Like they weren't like fancy, like going to a wedding kind of fancy. They just looked nice. And like I know by now, Korean girls, I know if you are dressed really cute, I know you going somewhere where you can take some cute pictures. I know it. So I'm like, this sounds really weird now that I'm saying it on YouTube. Please don't think I'm weird. I just wanted to take cute pictures too. All right. So I followed them.
Hello. You.
Kind of sort of followed them. And I was led to like this area. And in this area, there was this stone looking building, but it wasn't like, okay, maybe it wasn't stone. It was more like concrete looking building. And you would think like, whoa, Carly, that doesn't sound aesthetically pleasing. That sounds terrifying. Was it a jailhouse? No, it was just like a very smooth concrete building with like a huge black door. And on the inside, there was like croquettes, like different croquettes. It was like a croquette cafe, like all the different types of croquettes or croquets. I'm not French, so I don't know the exact pronunciation. Croquette, croquet. They're the little things that kind of look like bread, but also kind of look like a hash brown that has something on the inside. Yeah, there was like a million different varieties of those in there. And the inside of the cafe was so aesthetically pleasing. Like it was still all sleek concrete. There was like these white bubble looking chairs. It was like the lights were hanging down. It was like a black line and then like the little bulb on it. It was just so beautiful in there. And the croquettes, which they advertised them as being Japanese style croquettes, and I got like a curry one, I got like a potato one, and then I got like some kind of cheese one, and all of them were like chef's kiss. Amazing, delicious, all right? And I was like, I'm gonna have to bring my friends back here because this is amazing. So I went outside, I took a picture of the place. I don't know, probably not gonna be able to find this picture, but because it was 12 years ago, but I took a picture of the place. And I was like, also 12 years ago, I had like iPhone 4. The picture is probably like, you can't even make out what it is. And then I go and I finish my day, I come back the next following week and I tell my friends. I had 2 friends that were like really close to me, and one of them was a Korean, and her her fiance at the time was from Spain. So I was like, hey, you guys, I found this really cool place like in Seoul, we should go. We Google searched, we went, we looked around. I tried to figure, I'm really good with directions. I'm really good. But I couldn't find exactly where I was at because I don't remember the bus I was on, because again, I was gallivanting. I was just like out there seeing what Korea has to offer. And I still to this day have never found that place. Yes, I'm encouraging. Okay. Yes, I'm encouraging you to go out and gallivant around and live your best life, but also be prepared to soak it all in there in the moment, because when you're gallivanting, you probably won't find that place ever again. You probably won't go there ever again. Now, I will say in this day and age, there are ways around this. Like you can just send if you're at a cool place, you just send your location to someone and be like, we have to try this. And boom, you can like navigate right back to it. 2012, that wasn't an option. Also, this day and age, there's Instagrams for like everything. So like you just go to the place and you're like, hey, do you guys have an Instagram? I'll follow you on Instagram. Boom, phone number, address, everything on Instagram. This was 2012, you guys. Instagram was a thing, but it wasn't like that big of a thing. I didn't even know what sending your location was. I don't even think it was a thing in 2012. It might have been, but like it wasn't a thing for me. I lost this place, and still to this day, I think about it, I dream about it. I want to go back. I don't know where it's at. I don't know where I can find it. It was amazing. And I know it was kind of sort of near a raccoon cafe. So you would think that would narrow it down, but it didn't, because I remember seeing a sign that said like raccoon cafe. And I was like, oh my gosh. And actually I went to a raccoon cafe a few years later in Korea when my friend came to visit. It wasn't that exact raccoon cafe, but it was actually a very fun experience until the raccoon peed in my purse. But that's another story. I'll have to tell you guys that another day. Gallivanting, man. Gallivanting is what is the thing to do. If you want to be a true explorer, a true adventurer, if you will, go to a random city in a random country and gallivant around. That's what you got to do.
Just do it!
I bet you're curious by now what gallivant actually means. And this is kind of like an old-fashioned word. I'm not gonna lie, but it's still very common today, especially here in the South. I cannot tell you how many times my mom has told me to quit gallivanting and hurry my butt up. We'll be in the store and she'll be like, Carly, we're leaving. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around. And my mom's like, Carly, quit your gallivanting. Let's hurry up. In her little Southern accent. I love my mama. And yeah, I heard that a lot growing up. So it's very common. It's still used today, even though it's kind of an old-fashioned word. Still very popular today, especially in the South. But what does it mean? All right. Gallivant just means to go around from one place to another in search of pleasure or entertainment, often in a carefree or frivolous manner. So it implies the fact that you are wandering or traveling for enjoyment rather than for any specific purpose. So you're not walking around because, hey, I gotta go to the store. Hey, I want a coffee. I'm gonna go get a coffee from a cafe. Hey, I'm gonna go get some lunch at this place. You don't have like a clear motive in mind. You literally are just walking because there's nothing else better to do, like carefree, like you're exploring. And you know what? I love doing that when I travel outside of the country because I know that's where I get the most in life. But it's my passion as well. I love teaching English and I love traveling. But I ran up on this alleyway in Japan a few years back. I think it was like 2017 or 2018. I was gallivanting. I don't know what I was doing. I was just walking around everywhere and I was alone. I just went to Japan for like a mommy getaway. And I just walked and I was gallivanting and I ran up on this like alleyway that was like a scene out of a movie. It was so beautiful. You never know what you find when you gallivant. And again, gallivant is just you being carefree, going from one place to another in search of pleasure or entertainment. Too long the video, but. So now the moment you have all been waiting for. Cue the music.
History with Carley.
So the word gallivant is an actual word that's in the dictionary. So it's a little bit different. You know, usually I don't teach actual vocabulary words, but the word gallivant has its roots in Middle English, while with the word gallivant has its root. Oh my God. So this word gallivant has its roots in Middle English because the original meaning was to gad about joyfully. That's kind of old English. But it is believed, but it is believed to have evolved from the French word gallivant, which seems, or no, that was the wrong one. From the French word galantir, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and that just means to wander like in search of pleasure or amusement. So over time, this word gallivant has come to be associated with the idea of wandering about, but in a playful and carefree manner. Like you don't have anything on your mind, you don't have any place to be, you're just wandering, you're just walking, seeing what the world has to offer. You're just gallivanting. But overall, it has been in use at least since the 19th century. And like I said, even though it's kind of an older English word, it's still very common, especially here in the South. Like you will, oh my God. You will hear the word gallivant. Without a doubt, you will hear the word, especially if you're the one gallivanting and somebody's waiting on you to stop gallivanting. You'll hear the word gallivant. They'll be yelling at you like, hey, quit your gallivanting, let's go. AKA my mom, my whole life, because I'm a wanderer. It's what I do. I wander off. I see something shiny, I'm gonna go to it. That's just me. As always, I also have 3 example sentences for you all. So example number 1, instead of studying for the exam, he decided to gallivant around town with his friends. Been there before, done that. Not good, not good. Example number 2, after finishing their work, the group of friends would often gallivant through the city, exploring new neighborhoods and trying new restaurants. After finishing their work, the group of friends would often gallivant through the city, exploring new neighborhoods and trying new restaurants. And now, finally, last but not least, example number 3, she spent the summer gallivanting across Europe, visiting museums, sampling local cuisine, and soaking up the culture. Take me with you next time. She spent the summer gallivanting across Europe, visiting museums, sampling local cuisine, and soaking up the culture. Gallivant. I hope you guys have a better understanding of this actual vocabulary word, gallivant. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like always, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know any suggestions. Like I have a long list of things I want to teach you guys, but I always move your suggestions to the top. So if you have a suggestion for me, I'll move that to the top. I'll make sure I put out a video for you for that suggestion. So please leave your suggestions in the comments, and I hope to see you all in the next video.